Hello everybody, my name is Roberta Poderytė and I am a junior specialist of electronic publishing department at Vilnius Technical University Press. And now, as you heard the main terms of the DOI, I would like to share my personal experience. I've started working with this thing nearly accidentally. The GTU Press Technica announced that they have some free places for student practice, and I, as an information systems student and a keen and vibrant person, decided to give it a try. I've never imagined before that such thing that DOI exists, and I didn't really know that some invisible information like metadata is very important and essential for databases, information systems, and even for search engines. When you start working with digital object identifiers, it is a must to understand the basics that it was lectured before. When you know the theory, why do you use the DOI, what it is much more easier to get rid of the practical side. The first thing I've done is the XML, Extensible Markup Language File Analysis. I would like to mention that this kind of job requires very much attention and patience, so you should be careful, because every start and end tag has to be in its own places and mustn't be ignored. You should be very careful for it, and because it's made not by free interpretation, but regarding the rules. It takes a lot of practice, so it comes by time. As I started from the bottom, CrossRef Support Center was a big relief for myself, and help.crossref.org provides you some deposit basics information step by step, as you can see. Also, you can write an email if you don't find something, and they kindly try to help you. So it is not a problem if you cannot search for something. One thing that was mentioned before, it is a web deposit form. You can use it if you are a smaller publisher, and the required fields are title, abbreviation, ESSNs, and other. So it's much easier, but for our institution it isn't enough, and we use XML Schemas because we provide more services like cited by, cross-check, and cross-mark. We use it because we think it's very useful, and you'll hear about it further today. And if you want to use this kind of services, you should be an expert in reference forming. Because if you don't know how the author or date or article title is queued, you can deposit a misleading information. So it is important for you not to mix those metadata things. When you have a fully formed XML file, you should go to DOI crossref.org and log in with your institution's logins. And as an institution, you have your own prefix, and when you log in, submissions and upload section, you can find browse button, and you can upload your metadata here. It is important that it is important to write in your email, because after that, after the depositing, you will receive a message, as you heard before, and it can be an error or it could be successful. The puzzle starts when you find an error, and I will show you some kind of errors that could be. For example, it could be a syntax error. Problematic symbols are mentioned here, and you can see their own encodings. You should avoid using it in your text and also in the suffixes of DOIs, because the system can't recognize your symbols and understand it as an XML code. One more important thing is the hierarchy in the file, and inappropriate queue can cause you some problems. There are parents and children sections, and I strongly recommend to make adequate spaces from the left that you can recognize the children from the parents, as you can see. Also, we recommend you to take appropriate titles and archiving. It would be very useful for yourself if you have to repost metadata and try to repair some things and redeposit it. And also it is useful for your colleagues because your workmates could search easier if your files are tidy and archived. For example, our institution uses titles for journals like abbreviation of the journal, ESSNs, volume, issue, and years. For books, we use just DOIs suffixes, so I recommend you to talk within your team and make some kind of rules. What is an appropriate tidiness and what queue you should use, and just for yourself. Also, I recommend to make some templates for yourself. It is very useful for me because I like to concentrate on one thing 100%. So before I fill in the metadata, I make some skeletons of my XML files. I count the number of articles that I will deposit. I copy and paste all the structures that I have in separate file, and then I can just freely fill in all the information, not worrying about what line I should add and what kind of thing I missed. So it is my advice. Also, we know that in new age, everything gets older immediately, and we have to be very curious. In fact, that we want quality in our work and renew all the information. So you should be interested in new things. CrossRef offers a service like Crossmark, and you will hear it further today. But I will show you just from my experience. For example, I took our journal, Business Theory and Practice, from Vilnius Gediminas Technical University. And when you click on our article, you can see that we have a crossmark sign. And it offers us to click and get updates and verify authenticity. So when we click it, we see the status. And it shows that this document is current. Also, it can be retracted or other things, and it is very helpful because the reader can decide if it's okay. And in XML file, we can write it like this. Also mentioned before, we use simple text query because it's not useful just for authors. It is useful for myself because I can put in my file the DOI, start end, and NTEK. And when I submit with my account, I can see the DOIs that was recognized, and I use it when I deposit my new DOIs in my citations. Also, we use scroll URLs, and we write not just the simple resource, we use also the iParadigms and Google. It is crawler-based resources, which helps us to cooperate with cross-check, and with Google, that is very useful for researchers and for the search engine. What is more, as I said, it requires a lot of patience and attention, and you have to deposit an accurate information. If you have the first author, you shouldn't mix it with additional author, because the statistics are made and it's not very useful for your institution when you mix it up and get the misleading information published. So ESSNs and simple ISSNs are different, and you shouldn't mix the relevant information. Also, we use abstracts, but remember to check if your schema is new enough, because older versions don't provide such kind of things, and be careful. And I successfully finished my practice 1 year ago, and now I'm working with these things. I also hope to hear something new today, and I think that some kind of information could be useful for you, and thank you for your attention.